Coming up on this special In Focus edition of Arizona Horizon, a conversation with Governor Doug Ducey. We'll talk about a variety of things, including the budget, an expansion of the education voucher system, and new regulations on the Citizens Initiative process. Arizona Governor Doug Ducey, next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to this special In Focus edition of Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Tonight our guest is Arizona Governor Doug Ducey, who recently signed a number of high-profile bills into law, including an expansion of the state's education voucher system and new regulations on the Citizens Initiative process. We'll talk about those issues and more. We welcome Arizona Governor Doug Ducey to Arizona Horizon. Good to see you again.
Thanks for having me, Ted. Thanks for coming up to the governor's office.
You betcha. Are you recovered from the Final Four?
What a great weekend. Boy, did we put on a terrific show. Congratulations to the Arizona Department of Tourism and the Commerce Authority and the NCAA. It was Saturday through Monday. I mean, the whole world got to see Arizona again after the Super Bowl, after the College Football National Championship. It was just a great event.
Yeah, a great event there. Now we got baseball season. We could talk sports all day long, but we're not here for sports. We're here to talk about what's going on with you and the Capitol and the legislature. Let's talk about the budget. What are you hearing so far? What do you want to hear?
Well, we're certainly in a different place today than we were 2 years ago when we came into office. We had a $1 billion deficit. All the decisions were tough ones. This time we have some extra dollars laying around. And so I enjoy the discussion of where should we spend those, where should we invest those, where should we improve our tax code for our citizens. And we're seeing some of the results of better decisions and a growing economy. We also, that the U.S. Census Bureau had Maricopa County as the fastest growing county in the country. Ted, there's 3,144 counties in the U.S. and we're number one. This reminds me of the mid-2000s when our housing market was on the move again. People are moving here, companies are coming here. We've got announcements like Intel putting $7 billion into the state of Arizona. So we're starting to see that we're going in the right direction. I would like to move faster on this budget discussion, but we have a new Speaker of the House in J.D. Mesnard. We have a new President of the Senate in Steve Yarborough. I'm going to respect their co-equal branch in the appropriations process, but I'm confident that as we get through this, we're going to be able to put a significant amount of more money into K-12 education, get money to our universities, as well as protect public safety and child safety.
I noticed that your ideas regarding new initiatives, about $125 million or so. The House has released a blueprint of what they'd like to see. Not sure about the Senate, not sure what's going on over there. But as far as the House is concerned, they're only seeing $30 million for new initiatives. Are we doing a little horse trading here? What's going on?
Well, this is where the negotiation comes in. This is where the relationships come in, and this is where the communication comes in. So I'm confident. We released that budget in mid-January. I'm ready to sign it tomorrow, but we're going to have some discussion with the House and the Senate, and Speaker Mesnard has gone through a more thorough appropriation process, really gotten buy-in from the members, and we've had good communication through the process, but we'll probably get down to the specifics here in the next several weeks.
Real quickly regarding teacher pay, it sounds like they want to see a 1% raise for the next school year. Cost maybe $34 million. You've already got the 2.5% raise over 5 years, maybe $13 million total outlay there. Again, can the two meet somewhere?
I believe we can meet. I think what we share is that we both want to see the maximum amount possible put into K-12 education. We'd like to see the maximum amount possible go to our teachers. So if we can collaborate for a better number or a higher number there, I'm all for it.
What about oversight for Prop 123 money? Do you think that needs to happen? More oversight for that money?
Well, what I want to see is, we passed Prop 123 and it was a good first step. We've had a net inflow of over $300 million in the last 7 months. Some places I go to visit these schools and teachers come up and say, thank you. I got up to a $10,000 raise. Other places I go, a teacher hasn't received any raise. So this is on the principals and the superintendents, and I know there are other needs and things that they have to use those dollars for. I want to see those dollars go to the teachers. I'd like to work together with the education establishment, with policymakers, so that we have a transparent look at the new dollars that are flowing and how do we incent these numbers to get to teachers' salaries and get them the increases they deserve.
A transparent look that also includes reasons for a district that may have increased teacher salaries in the past and now needs that money for infrastructure or other uses.
Absolutely, and I realize that those are real needs: bus drivers, infrastructure, cafeteria. We could go on and on, but I think the most important and pressing need is for the teachers.
You're right. You mentioned university funding here. Now, your idea for this could honestly, you want to see the budget process moving quickly, this could be a real sticking point here. At least that's what I'm hearing. And your idea of using a permanent shift of sales tax money to fund bonding for universities, there's a lot of pushback on that. Why do you think your particular method, your particular instrument, makes sense?
Well, I think we have excellent universities here at the state level. Michael Crow and Arizona State University is the most innovative university in the nation for the second year in a row, beating out places like Stanford and MIT. We've got a new president coming into the U of A. We've got NAU headed in the right direction. Our state is one of the fastest growing states in the country. Our K-12 system is improving. More of our students are going to be attending these universities. They have needs. We think this is a way to get dollars to the universities in a way that protects the general fund and that's financially responsible.
Yet we're hearing that cities and towns, this is tax money that they would otherwise receive, they're not happy about this, and they're thinking that this is, A, they're not happy about it, and B, they don't think it sets a very good precedent because someone else is going to want to do this in the future. Do they have a point?
Well, universities are special in our state, and I would say that the cities and towns benefit by the improvement in the infrastructure in the universities as well. The economic growth that we see as a result of investment in the universities also benefits the cities and towns. So I'd like people to look beyond a one-year budget schedule to longer term. That's how I'm looking at what the administration does. And that's what I think this tool provides for the universities.
And yet they're saying they are looking long term, and they've already budgeted a lot of this money for police, for fire, for these sorts of things. Again, do they have a point, and do you understand their concern?
Oh, I understand their concerns, and of course public safety is the first responsibility of any elected leaders. But I think when you see growth in a state's population and growth in the economy, you see the tax revenues growing. That increases their state shared revenue, and it can overcome whatever's necessary for this package for the universities.
It sounds like you really like this idea and you're going to stick to it. It sounds like at the legislature there are a lot of folks who don't like this idea. I mean, is this going to be something that could keep the legislative session going for longer than most folks want to see it going?
Well, we were done with the first legislative session on, I think, March 7th, so we're beyond that date. We're not going anywhere. You know, the governor's office is open 365 days a year. If we need to stay a little longer to get a better package for education, then we'll stay a little longer.
The idea perhaps of not so much money coming out to sale, not using all sales taxes, somehow, again, meeting somewhere in the middle so that cities and towns that think they're going to get hammered by this don't get hammered so hard. Is that possible?
I'm open-minded, and I'm certainly going to talk with legislators. I'm going to work with legislative leadership. I believe we want to go in the same direction. If they have some different ideas, some innovative ideas, some ideas that they've discussed with cities and towns or mayors and city council members, I'm going to listen.
Last question on this. Why not just a dedicated funding for universities?
I think if we want to think long-term and give the university presidents the latitude they need to do some of the larger projects, we want to have something that we know will be there year after year.
And this, again, is permanent every year, correct?
This would be permanent every year, and I think the state's in a much better financial position. We have an economy that's about $280 billion. We have about $9.2 billion of debt. When I came into office, we've paid down $400 million of debt. If you looked at that as a household, that'd be like having a $9,000 mortgage on a $280,000 salary. That would be considered very responsible. So investing or using this vehicle for our universities is a very fiscally conservative way to grow our state.
Education voucher expansion, education scholarship accounts, the expansion of that program. You have signed that into law. Again, that was a relatively divisive issue down at the legislature. It still is in a lot of education circles. Why did you sign that? Why is that necessary?
Well, I think first off, I want to say these educational savings accounts, which I think is the best way to look at them, are not something new. These are something that have existed since 2011. And the people that are the proponents of these savings accounts are people that care about kids, and they think that these vehicles can help kids, and they have helped kids on the reservations. They've helped military families, disabled kids, and this is an expansion, and it's going to be gradual, and there's a cap on this. So I've always been a proponent of school choice. I would look at this as true parental choice. I think it'll be a positive, but we'll be able to take a look at it. For me, I wasn't sure on it, and there were some things that happened, very thoughtful amendment by a thoughtful legislature and Senator Bob Worsley. Part of it was what we suggested, which was that 100% of the funding should go to low-income kids, that they should get a preferential treatment in terms of the dollars. They really do have needs that are different than our children in suburban areas. So once we had that, I was much more open-minded to it. Senator Worsley put a cap on the bill, which really allows us to look at it and to test it and to see how it works. The cap will happen over the next 6 years, 5,000 kids a year. So I think this is responsible. It's just one more tool in the toolbox for school choice and reform.
The concern, though, is that it opens public money up for private and parochial schools at a time when public schools need all the dollars they can get.
And the public schools are going to get additional dollars. I want you to know that this, according to JLBC, was actually something that was a net positive for the general fund. So this is something you can think of as a parent being able to have a choice on where they send their child. The general fund will be protected, and we're going to put $114 million, according to my budget proposal, over and above inflation this year on top of Proposition 1, 2, 3. That's what you can do with a growing economy. You have additional resources, and it's not just about resources, it's also about reforms, and I think that you can do both. And I think because this came before the budget was passed, people are concerned about what's going to be in the budget. The focus is on the budget, and we're going to deliver on these resources.
But people are also concerned that the options, I think one lawmaker was quoted as saying something along the lines of that there are some choices are more choiceful, more options than others. I forget how he put it. But the idea is that if you are a poor family and you get help as far as these accounts are concerned, you still can't afford some of the better schools, whereas those to whom much is given can afford these better schools. And so that option really doesn't exist for the lower income family, whereas for the upper income family, all it does is help with private school and parochial tuition.
Well, let's let the family make the decision on that. This can, in many cases, close the gap. This can also be used for tutors. This can be used for textbooks. This can be used for educational therapy. This is a choice for a parent to make. Now they have this option. We've had this since 2011. I think we have less than 5,000 parents participating in it, but they have found it to be very effective for them. It's going to be expanded so that others can participate, but capped at 5,000 kids a year. We've got 1.1 million children in our K-12 education system. At the 6-year cap on this, less than 3% will be available to participate. So I think it's a good, innovative idea, worth trying, and we will be backing it up with resources.
Studies, I know the Arizona Republic has looked at this a couple of times, and what they find is that even with the earlier limitations with kids with disabilities, the reservation, military families, etc., those that use the program are those who can afford mostly private and parochial schools. The ones who use the program the least are the ones you should be helping as far as low-income folks. Does that concern you?
Oh, it concerns me. I think it's unfortunate that what we see in the achievement gap in the low-income areas, we're underperforming in terms of educational results. And in our suburban areas, we're doing just fine. So I want to see these parents not only get additional resources, but options, reforms, and innovative ideas that they can use. But that is where the education gap is. And this isn't an Arizona issue. This is an American issue. This is happening across our country. School choice is part of it, but so is investment in our teachers and our classrooms along with reforms. And that's what this is another tool in the toolbox.
Okay. If you're a low-income family and you're watching this and you're saying, I still can't afford to send my kid to Brophy or Xavier, that's where I want to go, I still can't go. If you're an upper-level family, you can already afford to go there, and this now will help you with your tuition. Again, some folks hear that and they don't see a fair deal.
Well, there are additional options out there, and there are other schools, there are probably other ideas that haven't been brought to the market at this time. And like I said, this is a limited number of children. It'll be a gradual increase with a cap on it. So this has served almost 5,000 families well so far. We want to close that achievement gap in our lower income areas. Resources is part of that. So are reforms and dollars to the teacher. So we think we know what the formula is. We just need to do more of it more often in more parts of our state.
Is there enough oversight where this money's going?
This bill improves oversight, and we want to know, we want to have transparency, and we want to have accountability. And we can do that. This will improve that, and we need to work with the Department of Education, the superintendent as well, to improve that.
There's a lot of criticism, though, that it doesn't improve oversight. And the oversight for the private and parochial schools are not the same as for the public schools. And so we got public money going, and we don't know where it's going or what it's doing.
Well, there was a compromise on this so that we do have accountability. When we have 50 students in a school, we'll have the aggregate scores. And I think my first concern is for the child and the parent and what their choice is. The ultimate measure of accountability is improvement in results. The last results we received, Arizona was leading the country in improvement in math and reading. We're going to have some new scores coming out that are independent. Let's see how we're doing, and if we can continue to do that, we want to give parents those choices, while at the same time we can do a better job in terms of accountability and transparency, and this bill demands that.
How do you explain the disconnect, though? We just had 5 Arizona Teachers of the Year coming out, blasting you, basically saying that your actions, your words are not backed up by your actions.
They were not blasting me. I spent an hour with them in this very office yesterday. We had a very positive discussion. They shared their concerns about this issue. I think so often much of the reporting on this has been so hysterical, as if this small reform will be the end of the world. Once they heard about the additional resources that we're going to be providing, the program to forgive teacher debt, the way we're going to attract teachers with bonuses, the accreditation that we're going to have to bring new teachers into K-12 education. They saw the broader education reform. They may not have been happy about each component of it, but they saw that it was more than singularly focused. We had a terrific meeting. In addition, I have visited dozens of schools over the last 2 years, and I hear a lot of positive feedback from teachers. I hear some negative feedback too, and I listen to it. And I think the state of the state and the package that we're moving forward in terms of our agenda addresses it, and addresses it in an aggressive and positive way.
So for those who say, last point on this, so those who say we are constantly struggling to fund public schools, we had a lawsuit that had to be settled to fund public schools. I mean, we've gone through all sorts of hurdles here. This comes along using public money for private and parochial schools. For those who say that is the wrong message and it's the wrong avenue to take, you say?
I say this is public money for public education. Okay, we're about educating our public, and any kid that is a child of Arizona deserves a good education, and we're going to give them different choices, and we can have reforms and resources along the way, and we're leading on that with Prop 123 and the budget package that we hope to pass in the next several weeks.
Real quickly, the Goldwater Institute, before we even had a chance to sign the thing, came out and said we're going to lift that cap.
We're not entertaining that one bit. The bill I signed was the bill that had the Worsley Amendment on it,
yes,
that put the cap there. The cap is there, and we're going to see how this works. This is going to be my policy on education going forward. We're going to do more of what works, and we're going to stop doing what doesn't work. This just was signed into law. We have no evidence of what's going to happen. Let's take a look at the program.
So you're not going to push to lift those caps?
We're going to have evidence of what's going on before we make any changes, reforms, or improvements, and lifting the caps is off the table.
You signed a ban on paying petition circulators per signature. Why?
We want to see the process in terms of initiative be more transparent. We want to also see good ideas move forward. We want to see the public have the proper scrutiny. What our concern was special interests parachuting into the state, paying dollars for thousands of signatures, having a glossy ad campaign in September and October, and then passing something that was permanent and unchangeable. I'm a fan of the initiative process. I've participated in myself, both referendum and initiative. We'll still be able to move things to the ballot through initiative, but we think that this is a proper safeguard so that we have better oversight on our initiatives.
But how does it help the initiative process? How does it help citizens get their voice heard by way of the ballot process when it seems as though this and other attempts make it far more difficult?
Well, we want to have citizen initiatives moving to the ballot. We want to do our best to discourage special out-of-state interest for using Arizona as an innovative place to test their new ideas. Citizen initiatives will still go forward. They'll just have to be as well thought through as possible. And it's much like the voter reforms that we've had. We want to make it easy to vote, and hard to cheat. We want to have the best initiatives and referendums moving forward as possible.
Why didn't we see this kind of attempt in years past?
Well, it's only recently, I think, that you see so much of this legislating attempted to be done at the ballot box. If we're going to do it that way, we should be thoughtful about it.
But some are saying that this is you, Republican Party, Chamber of Commerce, not happy about the minimum wage being increased and trying to find a way around that.
This is the same law that Janet Napolitano presented with the support of Rebecca Rios. This is not a partisan law. This is a nonpartisan idea that's an improvement on the process, we believe, and so did Governor Napolitano and Leader Rios.
So it's just coincidence that after the minimum wage was passed, this happened?
Well, I have been more focused on action-oriented reforms in terms of my agenda versus process reforms. This is a process reform that came through the legislative process. I think it's a good idea, and I signed it.
Do you think that this means that only big money now can afford to get something on the ballot as opposed to a true citizens initiative?
Oh, I think we can have a true citizens initiative. That's, if I can't wave a magic wand and people and special interests are going to operate, it's impossible to stop them. But what we want to have are true citizen initiatives on the ballot.
And last question on this. Why is it important to have these kinds of regulations on citizens initiative process and not as far as who's contributing to your campaign, to legislators' campaign, to anyone who's running for public office?
Regardless of what you think of the elective process or the legislature, they stand accountable to the voters every 2 years. And the voters can throw them out, or myself, whenever they like. These initiatives are voter protected and unchangeable. So that's a big difference.
Okay, so the same voters that could get wowed by the glossy stuff that's parachuted in, you still think that they're okay as far as every 2 years and having dark money or not so dark money coming in and propping up candidates?
Well, I think the idea of that we should follow the law, that we should all play by the rules, but I think that there's people that want to be involved in the election process, and what I've done is disclosed everything that I'm legally required to. That's what everyone who signs up for office does, but you follow the law, and we play by the same rules.
You started the conversation with Arizona growing as far as population is concerned, economics are concerned. ASU study, W.P. Carey School, 2016 non-farm job growth in cities and states. Arizona tied for 8th, 2.6 growth. Okay, but first time in the top 10 since 2013. That's improvement. What's going on?
Well, I think it's a good sign. I mean, in the game of states, people vote with their feet. In the game of ice cream, people vote with their dollars. We know we have a great quality of life here. 70% of our adult population grew up somewhere else and chose to come here. Now we see companies come here, supply chains come here. Our housing market is growing again. We've got a great product to sell. I've spent a lot of time in California and in Mexico and in Canada, and I think we're starting to see our economy turn. When the American economy grows, Arizona does better. When the American economy shrinks, it's often tougher on us because we've been a growth state. I think we're in one of those positions where we can be optimistic and really pour the gas on in terms of growing our economy, but we want to do it responsibly. We don't want to be overgrown or like a Los Angeles County. We have a safe place to live. We want to keep it safe. I have a lot of care and concern for our outlying areas and our rural areas, but we are seeing the economy turn in a positive direction.
Real quickly, Utah, Idaho, Nevada, Washington, Oregon, they're all ahead of us. Are they doing something that we should look at and say, and we're tied with California, I know how you feel about California, but still, the place is a success in a variety of ways. Are all of these places, are they doing something we can look at and try to do ourselves?
Well, I think we're leading the pack in terms of reforms of lowering taxes, lightening regulations, being a place with low liability and litigation, really we'll remove 500 regulations at the state level this year, affordable energy, ample water, improving K-12 education, and we're getting that message out there. And I realize the size and success of California. But I think this is also a directional game. Are you going up or are you going down? The lion's share of people that I talk to and business owners that are relocating are from California. And that's a fact, and it's something I intend to take advantage of as long as I have this office.
Governor, it's good to speak with you again.
Good to speak with you too, Ted.
Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. And that is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
If you have comments about Arizona Horizon, please contact us at one of the addresses on your screen. Your comments may be used on a future edition of Arizona Horizon. Thank you. Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.